This video is part of Lesson 5 in the course Passion to Preach. In this video, structure your sermon by using the mind map.
There's one more question we need to deal with, and that's the question, how do you write down your sermon? Because there are different methods of writing down your sermon. You've prepared the message, you've structured the sermon, but then how do you write down your sermon? There are several ways. Some pastors write down everything. So they write down a sermon word by word by word. And when they are in the pulpit or on the stage, they read it. And they look up and down, but they read it and they stay close to the text that they've prepared. So that's a method. There are other pastors who say, well, I don't need it. I'm free. When I speak, I feel free. So they don't have anything with them. They say, well, it's in the back of my mind. I've prepared it. I know what I want to say. So I'm okay. And they just stand up without any notes. They only have the Bible in their hands and they preach the word of God. So these both extremes have good points and some bad points. The good point of writing down everything is that you know how your sermon will be like. So you already went through it, the whole process, one more time. But it takes a lot of time to write down. And the disadvantage is that you will not look to the people because you are looking, most of the time, you're looking to your paper. Because you want to stick to your paper. You didn't write it just for nothing. So the disadvantage is communication. You're not free anymore when you speak to the people because you're stuck to your paper. So that's a problem. When you preach without any notes, there's another problem. I've listened to many pastors without notes and they went all directions. They forgot about structure and they just what popped up in their minds, that's what they preached. So there was no structure, it was very difficult to follow and understand what they said and they went all kinds of directions which had nothing to do anymore with the central theme or message of the passage that they have chosen. So what we're looking for is something in between. We need structure and we need to know what we are going to say and when we're going to say it. But at the same time, we need some freedom. We need some freedom to give words to what we want to say while communicating with the people. So in this direct contact with the people, then we can find the words suited for this public, suited for these listeners. So what we're going to do is something in between. There is a structure. There is this paper that you bring with you in the pulpit or on the stage. But it's not written down everything. It's point by point by point. And we call this a mind map. It's a road map in your mind. So we write down in a certain way. It's on a white paper. And we put this white paper horizontal. It's called landscape. And on this paper we put the 5 points of the 5 steps of the sermon on order. Step 1, everyday life story. Step 2, situation. Step 3, the message and the illustration. Step 4, the objection. Step 5, what shall we do now? The application. So these 5 steps in order, and we do it in a circle. Because our brains and the way our eyes look at a piece of paper is more in a circular way than in a vertical way. So this is the way our brains work best. And that's why we write down our notes of the sermon, not vertical, but we write them down like clockwise. So we go with the clock together with our watches. So when you do this, you know exactly what you're going to say, when you're going to say it, but you did not write down the sentence that you're going to say, the exact wording, because that's what happened in communicating with the people. So there is the possibility of natural speech, natural language in this fixed structure of the 5 points of the sermon. And so in one blink of an eye, you can see your whole sermon and you know where you are what you're going to say there, and you're able to look people in the eye and tell it them in a natural way. So when you're done with your mind map, you're finished. Your sermon preparation is done. You're now ready to preach. May God bless you in your wonderful ministry.
You have been watching the video Structure Your Sermon by using the mind map in the course Passion to Preach. We hope to see you again next lesson.